Hi guys! Are you trying to buy a house and you are looking at a 1 to 4 single family residential contract and you're going, oh my god, what is this? This is the video for you because we are talking about page 5.
And if you're selling and you're doing the same thing, talking about page 5 right now. To be the best, you have to hustle. And I truly believe my wife Shonnie, she's the best. Hey y'all, I'm Josh.
And I'm Shonnie.
We are both your local realtors here in Dallas. We call ourselves the Timeless Duo, your timeless team, all right? And real stuff, no fluff always. And if you have not subscribed yet, you better subscribe right now because this is the 3rd part of the wonderful residential breakdown contract. And this is the 5th page.
So smash that like button.
And put a comment in the comment below. And let's go ahead and dive in because we don't want to waste any more time. We want to get right into this.
Yeah.
Page 5. So let's roll. We are on part 8 of the page 5 of the contract, which is the broker fees. Now, as we look at here, this line says that fees were agreed upon between clients and agents in a separate document from this form. And that essentially just is clarifying who the agreement is with and is verifying that all parties are on board and fees are involved and it's all signed off. Okay,
in the listing agreement,
there's no gray areas. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as we slide down to here on line 9, this talks about the closing. Closing date goes in this section. Okay, closing will be on or before said date or within 7 days after the objections have been cured. Okay, so if the sale does not close, there are no defaulting party can seek damage, right? As we all know, that contracts are very strict and are based off of performance. So this helps clarify that even all up to the closing day. Now, this section says that this seller will deliver warranty deeds and convey the title. Buyer shall pay sales price to escrow agent. No liens are on the property prior to or as we on the closing day. Okay, and if the property is subject to a lease, all the security deposits must be transferred, okay, to the new owner. Super important.
You better give them that paper.
And main thing is this: the owner must give tenant notice they are the owner and have the security deposit and the amount of the deposit in the case of there being a what?
In the case of there's a sale and there's a tenant already in the property. So the tenant has to be made aware of what's going on. They have to know who their point of contact's going to be, how money's going to be handled, and where the heck their security deposit is at.
So guys, Shonnie does all of our negotiations and client management and moves those papers all the way to closing. So she's always going to give like real life scenarios that you can relate with emotionally because we all know it's an emotional roller coaster when you're buying or selling a house and you're under contract, right? So you want to know about all of these points here. So let's go ahead and slide to number 10.
Possession. This is like the part that all buyers are concerned with is when do I get the keys? So possession. This describes when and how the buyer is going to take possession, which, if you didn't know, there are several ways this can happen. So there can be at closing and funding, which means once the lender, or if it's a cash deal, is transferred to the title company and the title company transfers it to the seller, that means it's funded, and then the buyer can come get the keys from title. Or there could be a lease back, which means they're going to close on the property, but the buyer's not going to get to go in there. The seller's going to get to go back home and stay in there for an agreed upon amount of days. That's what you call a lease back. There is also an instance where the buyer can take possession before closing. Never recommended. But this sometimes happens if a buyer's in a tough spot and a seller wants to be accommodating. They'll let the buyer move in before closing and for a certain amount of days, and then the house will still close and funds will be transferred and the seller will still get their money. But that is very risky. So that is what possession is talking about. And so 10B is talking about leases. After the effective date of the contract, the seller cannot enter into a new lease without the permission of the buyer. If the property has a lease agreement the seller has to give the buyer all information within 7 days after the executed contract. So, you hear that, sellers? You cannot start a new lease once you have gone under contract. That's a no-no. No, no, no. All right. And number 11, special provisions. This is where the seller or buyer would put any factual statements not already in the contract. For example, if I'm submitting an offer for a buyer and I want an answer immediately, I will put a little snippet in this section that says, this contract shall be null and void at 6 p.m. on February 12th if we do not hear a response. That lets the seller know, like, hey, we want an answer right now, or else. You can do this hourly. You can put other things in there, like you want the house cleaned. If a buyer wants the house cleaned in there. If the seller wants to put some sort of special provision in there, they could put a special provision in there. Like if they want to say, the seller will not repair the floors. They could put that in this section. So that's what it's for. It's for the little tidbits that you need to add that are not anywhere else in the contract.
Very clear, very clear. So as we slide down to line 12, this is the settlement and other expenses. It says that the seller is responsible for essentially paying of any existing liens. If the seller is paying any portion of a buyer's closing costs, it goes here, okay? And it's very clear. So 12B talks about if the expenses exceed an amount that a party agreed to pay, then the party can terminate the contract unless the other party agrees to pay the excess. All right.
Yep.
So
that's right.
that really wraps it up on page 5. Hope that this was really clear to you. And if it wasn't, give us a give us a thumbs down. And if you thought this was helpful, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you don't subscribe, then you don't love us, and we love you. Real stuff.
No fluff.
All right. And if you want more, we're going to finish out our next part, which will be
episode 4, page 6 is what we're going to be talking about next.
All right, so you guys better stay tuned, and we love you. Real stuff, no fluff. I'm Josh.
And I'm Shonnie.
Your time is due.